by Maitreyi Joshi, who is in 9th grade at Lynbrook High. She does soccer and cross country, and she's been coming to Shakha for 5.5 years. Her topic will be personality changes in her due to Shakha.
So, how many of you guys have ever used Facebook? How was your experience with it? I feel like Shakha is a lot like Facebook in a way. The first time when you start using it, you're unsure of yourself. It doesn't seem like a really big deal to you. It's just something that you're trying out. After a couple times, you start getting used to it. You start knowing the people, how things work, and you start to enjoy it more and more. Soon enough, you're hooked on it. You love it. You can't imagine how life was before you got introduced to it. It's brought you into a whole new world that you can no longer leave behind. Similarly, once I started knowing Shakha, the people, what it does, how it works, I couldn't leave it behind anymore. There was no way I could leave behind something that has become such a big part of my life. So many lessons learned, people met, memories made, life lessons understood. Shakha is kind of like a supplement to school. School is more of the theoretical side. It gives you the information and the knowledge. Shakha is more of the practical side. It teaches you how to take all these lessons that you learn from school and allows you to experiment with them and implement them. Shakha has given me the chance to experience everything, not just to learn the facts of how to do things, but how to actually put them to work. Unlike school, Shakha is more of the place where you take leadership, you take charge, and you do the work. Therefore, it installs a lot of important qualities within you. One of the things that Shakha has helped me with a lot is confidence. I've always been the shy type of girl. I love to talk to people, but I would always be afraid of whether I was saying the right thing or not. My sister was outgoing and funny, but I just couldn't seem to be like that. But slowly, I'm not even sure how, Shakha started changing me. Here, I wasn't afraid of disappointing somebody, or about not saying the right thing, or expressing my feelings. Therefore, I just started talking, and I found that I could be funny too, and talkative, just by letting the tightness inside of me go. I also took Prarthana, Subhashitams, and gave a voting, which forced me to face my fears. They made me go out and talk, and through that, I learned that I simply had to speak with confidence, like I knew what I was doing, and what I was doing was right, and then everybody would automatically listen. These self-discoveries helped me become more outgoing outside of Shakha too. I started taking charge, and the people really respected me and listened to me if I believed I could. I can notice the big difference in me now. Before, a year ago, when I used to be on the side, unnoticed, now I'm in the center of attention, respected and known by everyone else. Previously, I would get really nervous to do a presentation in front of 30 of my peers, and now I can come in front of all of you guys, no problem, to do this boldly. Shakha also implements a lot of leadership skills in its guide programs. Leadership is a really important quality to have, but we don't get many chances to build that skill. That is where Shakha has helped me tremendously, because it gives you the chance to lead others, to explore your talents, and find your strengths and weaknesses and learn to use them. In Shakha, there's a place for every single type of person. For the people who like music, Geet program. For the people who like to talk, Sampark program. They all have a job in which they do what they're good at, and they lead others in their area of expertise. Hindu Heritage Camp, that was where I learned how to lead. This camp for little kids was organized, planned, executed, everything by the Shakha's teenagers. That means I, along with another person, had to watch, entertain, and teach all these kids for a whole 3 days. The night before the first day of camp, I was awake, nervous. Like, how was I going to control them? How was I going to make them listen to me? The next morning arrived, and I went out there, and I just let myself go. And it turned out I was a pretty good leader. All the kids did listen to me, and they did like me. Contrary to all my peers, I did know how to lead. And Shakha has allowed that skill to come out. That experience that I gained from leading kids at HHC has helped my leadership skills, and I'm hoping that Shakha will help develop these skills even more. Pride is something that also we need to have within ourselves, but sometimes it takes a while for you to find it. Albert Einstein once said, "We owe a lot to the Indians, who have taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made." That is how Shakha affected me the most. It gave me pride in who I am. Before, since I didn't really know much about India, I didn't feel pride about it. I didn't feel like India was anything to care about. Through Shakha, through the Bouddhiks and churches, I learned that the Indians had contributed so much to the world. After all, who invented the number system? Who introduced yoga and meditation to the world? We definitely have so much to be proud of. The utsavs that we have in Shakha also allows non-Indians and non-Hindus to get a taste of our culture. Last year, for the Guru Vandana Utsav, which is where you invite your teachers and you do puja to them, my parents told me to invite some of my teachers to get a taste of Hindu culture. I can honestly say I was really embarrassed. I did not want to go to my teachers and tell them to come to this. I mean, what would they think of me? Some kind of weird religious kid or something? But I finally summed up all my courage and went to one of my teachers and asked if she would like to attend the Guru Vandana Utsav. To my surprise, she agreed to come, though I still believe she was coming because she was trying to be nice. The day of the Utsav arrived, and I was nervous, hoping that everything would be perfect. I didn't want to disappoint her. They called my teacher's name, and it was my turn to do the puja. I went up there with shaking legs, but she was really enjoying everything. To my great delight, she was full of happy comments of this great experience when I talked to her later on. She said how much she enjoyed seeing all these rituals and these bondage between all these Hindu people. A couple months later, at the end of the school year, she had written in my yearbook, quote, "I also cannot thank you enough for the wonderful and spiritual experience at your temple. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for inviting me." Even months later, my teacher had thought of it as important enough to write about, and that really amazed me. For people, even if they're non-Hindu, they still love Hindu culture so much. Last summer also, my family and I were vacationing in Alaska, a place where really few Indians live. And one of the days, I was sitting on the computer searching up Indian restaurants, and an American woman came and she saw the word India. And she asked me, "Oh, are you Indian?" And I said yes. And she's like, "Oh, I would like you to meet my daughter, Carol." At first, I didn't get what she was talking about, right? And then I suddenly figured it out. Her daughter was named after a state in India, Kerala. She said that her husband and her had been to India for her honeymoon, and they loved it so much that they named their daughter after it so that the wonderful beauty of this land would stay in their hearts forever. Another thing that really attracted me to Shakha, one of the qualities that they build in their Karyakartas, is that selfless spirit, that dedication and effort that is given in though nobody's being paid. All these Karyakartas put in hours worth of time, which they could be using to relax and watch TV, but instead they use it to give back to society, to help others, to make better lives for other people. Slowly, that spirit has begun to develop in me also. I think about all these people that give so much, and then why can't I do that too? Now I have started volunteering as referees and coordinators, and I think I've found what drives all these people. It's that feeling you get inside, that intense satisfaction, knowing that you are making someone else's day brighter. Now my goal is to do even more. I want to be remembered, like some of the other Karyakartas like Shakha, as a role model, as a person that people would try to be like. Another thing about Shakha is that it requires so much planning. Hours of work go behind every utsav to make sure it goes smoothly. And that's something I definitely want to learn. I am horrible at planning. You can ask any of my friends and they'll confirm that. I can't even plan like an event for like 10 people. And Shakha plans these events for hundreds of people. They have that discipline and that planning, that organization within themselves to be able to do this. And that's something that I want to be able to do too. Shakha also teaches a lot about flexibility, okay? You have to, you shouldn't feel that you're inferior or superior to anybody. You should be able to do all of the jobs. You see, there are 3 types of organizations. The first one is a physical organization. It's physically organized. It's like a brick wall. All the bricks are bonded together by cement, all in place. It looks really pretty on the outside. But can it make its own decisions? Can it function by itself? It just stands there. The second type of organization is a mechanical organization. It's like a car. All the parts have the same focus. They all can the accelerator do the brakes job? Now the car is just useless. The third type of organization is an organic organization. It's like Shakha. All the people have the same goal, the same focus. They work together cohesively. But tomorrow, if Mukashikshik is absent, another car can fill that responsibility. Every job is important in the team, and every member contributes to the goal. But at the same time, whenever there is a gap, we're able to jump in and fill in that position. No job is inferior or superior. Everybody is able to do all the jobs with ease. Through this, everyone in the organization is able to grow and learn. So these qualities that I mentioned, and there's so many more, I've acquired over years coming to Shakha, and they will remain with me forever. And there are so many more skills that I hope to learn in the succeeding years.